Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back as promised to talk to you about card kits. Now there are three what I would term as full card kits available in this year's catalogue, and they are two that carried forward from last year. That's the Soft Sayings card kit and a personal favourite of mine, the Lots of Happy card kit. And the new one for this year is this one, the Notes of Kindness card kit. So a couple of things to mention about kits is that, hello Ollie, do you want to explain to the nice people about card kits? I'm not sure you're well equipped for that. There you go, good boy. Lose my train of thought there. A couple of things to watch out for is that there is another partial kit in here. So you get your cards and the little pieces to put your sentiments on, but you won't get the stamp set, etc. So watch out for that. All the details of what you do get are under the item, but also what you might need to add to that to fulfill the project. So as I say, I would call that a partial kit. These are full kits, and all you basically need to add to that is the adhesive of your choice. You literally get everything else you need to make a kit. Sorry, to make a card even. The other thing worth mentioning is that having had the kit, if you really love it, you can get a card kit refill. Now you won't get the stamp set again, but you will get the actual, I should tell you, it's probably easier if I read it, minus the stamp set. You don't get the clear stamp block again, the ink or the box, so it is literally just a refill. It leads me on really to why do you want a kit? Well, there's lots of reasons. One could be that you've got a lot of thank you cards to make. So, for example, with this kit, you've got a complete kit and you've got a refill kit. If you've had a wedding, for example, a baby shower, a special anniversary, there's lots of thank you cards to make, and you can make them quite quickly, and they're very pretty cards. So that could be one reason. Another reason could be as a gift for a friend, a crafty friend perhaps, and by that I mean somebody who enjoys making things, not somebody that can't be trusted. So it could be a paper crafter, or it could be somebody who enjoys making something totally different. The great thing with these kits is that they all do come with full instructions, so they're not left to wonder how to put it together. With very little effort you can finish up with a really nice set of cards. Why would you personally want one? Well, again, there's lots of reasons. Sometimes you need a card in a hurry. Sometimes the ideas don't flow, do they? I don't know about you, but I'm seriously struggling with this hot weather, and by that I mean I'm seriously struggling to do anything, let alone come up with brilliant ideas for cards. So kits are really good, and funny enough, I did have to make a thank you card yesterday, in which I used one of these cards out of the Soft Sayings card kit, which you can view that on my business Facebook page if you want to have a look at that. I'll put a link on that at the start of the video. So I want to highlight today the Lots of Happy card kit, which is this one here. Oh, the other thing I did mean to say was this is basically the box structure that they come in. So a great gift if that's what it's for. You don't have to wrap that, do you? All you need to do is just add a nice piece of ribbon. Now when I open this, it's going to look very battered because I have used it quite a lot. But when you do open it, you find you've got a set of very well written instructions, so you really can't go wrong. You get stamping dimensionals, you get a little ink spot, you get various bits of background cards, you get a stamping block, which I'm going to leave out, so I just want that for later. In this card you get some lovely lemon lime twist ribbon, you get the stamp set, and you get 4 watercolour pencils. Now it's worth mentioning that in this kit the Flirty Flamingo and the lemon lime twist watercolour pencils are unique to this kit. You can't get them, they don't come in the normal range of watercolour pencils. So that's that. You've got some nice vellum leaves there. You've got the die cut pieces to add your sentiments to, and you've got all these different elements that you get to colour in, and you've also got some black and white striped backing card and some nice gold backgrounds as well. And you get some really cute little envelopes and a nice selection of different cards. There's all different shapes and sizes there. The other reason you might like a kit, and I'm probably aiming this more at people like myself who tend to holiday in the UK, where a lot of people like to take a book on holiday. Why not take a craft kit and do a bit of crafting? The reason I'm saying UK based, obviously I know when you go abroad you have to have certain limits and there's certain things you can't take, so that's why I'm really aiming it more at people like myself who like to pack everything but the kitchen sink. But they're really good, and I did this recently. I took that kit away with me and made some sort of what I would call half decent cards while I was away. And in addition to that, because I knew I was going to do some crafting, I also packed myself a few extra supplies, and literally they all fitted in this little box. I took my Wink of Stella, which anybody who follows my blog on a regular basis will know that I tend to use that on most of my cards. I took some embellishments. I used, I actually took my Memento black ink here because I've got to be honest, I just find that a little bit easier to have a bigger ink pad to work from. I took my adhesive, and because I knew I was going to do this crafting, I actually took a couple of the coloured stamp pads with me that I knew was going to feature. So Lemon Lime Twist and Flirty Flamingo. Another tip which I really wish I had thought about before I left, and that was, don't forget your crafting scissors. The place I was staying in, the only scissors available were something like this, IKEA, quite blunt ones. Not the best things to craft with, I have to say. So that's something I learnt just recently. But I just wanted to really sort of touch on the idea that kits are great and you've got all the instructions to do make the cards up, but you really don't have to stick to it to the letter. You can bring your own twist to it, and that's really why I wanted to do this video. So while I was away, I'll show you some of the cards that I made. So this is the Lots of Happy. Apologise, I've got now ginger hair all over me. So I think, obviously after I finish this video, I think the cats probably need a brush. You notice here, I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but this is what I'm talking about. The cut there is not the most ideal, but not too bad considering the scissors were a bit blunt. It's a really sweet little card that you can be able to use that for just a little gift card. And as always, don't use or don't have a plain envelope if you can avoid it. If we're going to go to all this trouble to make a pretty card, then let's make a pretty envelope to go with it. So that's that one. There's this one. Now notice here I've used this sentiment of thank you. Now that does come out of this kit. Let's put these all back now. There they are. The actual stamp says thank you for being a friend. I just wanted the thank you bit, so I just stamped the whole thing, and then carefully with a baby wipe I've taken that bit out and that bit out, leaving me with the thank you. Now as you can see, everything in the kit has used the black ink, but there's no reason why you can't use the Lemon Lime Twist, so I've given that a little bit of a different look by using a different ink pad. So that's that one. Then I made this one, which is that one. Now it's a really pretty card. Really like this card. The only thing that when I'd finished it, it sort of just got me thinking that it's lovely, but how does the person display it? It will sort of lean, but it's not brilliant. So it just got me thinking that did I have to do it like that, or would it work like that? So it would then stand up properly. Well, the very short answer to that is yes, it will. You just have to sort of turn it around. It looks slightly different in your patterns, but just by changing that to that, like to a diamond as opposed to a square, it all fits on, and you have a card that will stand. Now on here, although this is lemon lime twist, you see I've used the full stamp here, but I've added to that the granny green apple embellishments. They're very similar in colour, not the same, but they are similar, and I think the two work, and it just lifts it and just gives it a little bit of a twist, to personalise it with my, puts my stamp on it, for want of a better way of putting it. Now, each of my cards have had Wink of Stella added to the various flowers, which will just give a little bit of a shimmer to it. Then when I got back, I think that's the end of what I made while I was away. Oh no, there's another one over here. So again, I've used the same idea here. I've actually used the black ink, but I've taken out the for being a friend, and again I've used these three embellishments to just lift that a little bit. So that was that. Just a little thought, when you're using your watercolour pencils, start with the lighter colour, so a lighter touch even if you're using the same colour, and then just build that up into the darker colour. So for example, on the leaves I've used the lemon lime twist, and then I've added on top of that the old olive, and then just blending that in together. So that was the set of cards I made while I was away. Again, I've prettied up the envelope. That, I wanted to pick out the leaves in that, so that leaf comes from the Painted Harvest set. That's there, and all I've done is I've just blended in that colour using a blending pen. So yeah, that's that. So when I got back, I thought, how about sort of mixing it up a bit more? There we go. So I made this card. I was sort of thinking there's obviously nothing pink about this card, because what if you've got a friend who doesn't actually like pink, they like yellow or an orange. So with this one I've literally just used the pumpkin pie and daffodil yellow watercolour pencils, and with this I've used the sentiment out of Banners for You. So I've used the thank you there, and I've applied that onto the circle here. Because it's edged in gold, I've applied that on with Versamark, added gold embossing powder, and then just embossed the thank you on that. So I've just pulled that in together to match. So that's another variation. Yet another variation is this one. Now you see it's basically the same card, but what I've done here is I've moved the sentiment round. This is how it tells you to do it in the kit, and how I've done it there. There's no reason you can't have it like that. And the sentiment I've used out of this, I've done this specifically for my very good friend who's been very supportive since I became a demonstrator, and she's always there in the background telling me the cards are great and my attempts at YouTube videos are fabulous. So I just wanted to say thank you to her. So that's going to be winging its way to her very soon. I've used the sentiment I couldn't have picked a better friend than you out of this beautiful bouquet stamp set, which I did mention the other day in a video. It was in last year's catalogue, totally passed me by. I've got no idea why. It's fabulous. I've used it an awful lot since I actually bought it this year. So again, with this one, I've used the new Highland Heather colour, and I've also used the Granny Green Apple. And what I've done, blender pens will blend obviously colour like your watercolour pencils, but I like to use them almost like a paintbrush to add colour. So again, that's what I've done with this, and I've added some Wink of Stella onto that. and there is an envelope for it somewhere. Again, the envelope, I haven't actually stamped that yet, but I will use this one out of that. Just find this. The catalogue out the way. I still want to push these ink pads in the same way as the old ones. I really must get the hang of it. They're so much easier, but I think the problem is you've been doing it for so long in a certain way that suddenly it's quite hard to change. So just one on the front, one on the back, and that's good to go. So that's ready. So I just thought I would, just before I finish, do a little card on camera, just to show you what I was talking about with the blender pen. I'm going to make one of these little cards up, and that's adhesive. Adhesive and cat hair. Lethal combination, really, isn't it? There we go. So I've got that bit ready. Now I'm going to take this piece out of the kit, and using an odd piece of card and a blender pen, I'm just going to colour in this other end. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just taking down the colour until it's at the level I want it, and then I'm just going to then add it then to the image, because I just want quite a soft colour. If it's a large image, it might take more than one application. And the good thing, as you're laying down the colour, you're obviously losing it off of the blending pen, so you're actually getting that variation in tone without even trying. I have to say, I pride myself in being able to multitask, but it's not actually easy when you're trying to craft. But here I'm putting in just some darker colour, just to give it a bit of depth. Both ends don't have to be the same. I mean, no flower is the same, is it? They're all unique. Now these little buds here, I shall just go in with the full strength colour. So we've got the contrast going on. So as I was saying, it's not easy necessarily to concentrate on that and chat away, but just while I am doing this, so it's not quite so boring, I just wanted to remind you about some of the offers that are available during July. One of them involves the designer series paper. There's actually 10 of those that are on a current promotion, and basically you buy 3 and you get 1 free. I did a video on YouTube about a week ago which was highlighting that offer, and also the offer that if you sign up to become a demonstrator, in addition to your starter kit, which is already a fabulous deal, during the month of July you also get £63 worth of free stamp sets. So you get to choose from any one of the 5 colour collections, and you get those stamp pads free. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then go and have a look at the previous video to this one, and that will explain all about it. And there's some links on there to a blog post as well that gives you a bit more information. So with this, I'm just putting down some Granny Green Apple. Again, I'm taking off some of the colour because it's quite dark. Don't necessarily want it quite as dark, so I'm just putting in a bit of detail into the leaves. I've noticed. Now normally, obviously off camera, if I was just doing this normally, I would be making sure my nib is cleaned before I put it away. I've just noticed that I've missed these here. And you literally do that by running that over your paper like that. I will deal with that in a moment. Putting those away so that I don't have any accidents. And I'm just going to run some Wink of Stella over the flower that I've just coloured in. It's not in your face, it just gives it that little bit of a shimmer as the card catches the light. It also does a good job really of blending the colour as well. That's that. So that is going to go onto the centre of my card, so I'm just going to stick that down. Now in the little one, in the kit, you notice that I had one of the gold pieces behind it. I'm not actually going to bother with that, I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to put slightly off centre there so it doesn't fall off the card. I've got my cutout here for my sentiment. I'm using this beautiful bouquet. I'm using the happy anniversary one because I'm going to use this as a little gift tag or a little gift card to take to send off to some friends with their anniversary present. So I'll just take that off of there. You see I've already well used that, and I'm going to be doing that in the Highland heather. Just stamp that, see, make sure it's coming out all right. Place that in the centre, or thereabouts. Okay, not too bad. And then I need some stamping dimensionals just to add that onto the card. So a couple of stamping dimensionals. And a little gift card ready to go. With the envelope I will just add probably the same little design that I've just used on the other envelope, but so you don't need to necessarily have to sit and watch me do that. So that's about it I think for kits. As I say, really useful. If you haven't got one and would like one, then you can obviously purchase one via my online shop. So what's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope it's been of interest, and I'll be back very soon with another video. I plan to do one on a marbling technique, which is a really fun technique, which is also really good if you've got children or perhaps grandchildren who like to do a bit of crafting. So do come back and join me then, but until then I would say goodbye.